In 1921, he emigrated to the United States, arriving in New York City on September 4th. He settled in Chicago, where he opened a grocery store and bakery. However, the business was unsuccessful, and in 1925, he relocated to New York, where he entered the olive oil import business. On September 27, 1927, he became a United States citizen. At some point after his move to Brooklyn, he became involved with local gangs. On December 5, 1928, he attended a mob meeting in Cleveland, Ohio. The agenda of the meeting included resolving conflicts arising from assassinations and a vote on recognition of the Profaci crime family in Brooklyn. The 1963 McClellan hearings introduced some erroneous facts about the origins of the Profaci family, one being that it was an offshoot of Maranzano's crime family. His brother-in-law, Joe Magliocco, was his second in command. Given his lack of experience in organized crime, it is unclear why the New York gangs gave him power in Brooklyn. Some speculated that he received this position due to his family's status in Sicily, where they may have belonged to the Villabate Mafia. He may have also benefited from contacts made through his olive oil business. Cleveland police eventually raided the meeting and expelled the mobsters from Cleveland, but his business was accomplished. By 1930, he was controlling numbers, prostitution, loan sharking, and narcotics trafficking in Brooklyn. In 1930, the Castellamarese War broke out in New York City. Some sources say that he remained neutral, while others say that he was firmly aligned with Castellamarese boss Salvatore Maranzano. When the war finally ended in 1931, top mobster Charles Lucky Luciano reorganized the New York gangs into 5 organized crime families. At this point, he was recognized as boss of what was now the Profaci crime family, with Magliocco as underboss and Salvatore Profaci as consigliere. When Luciano created the National Crime Syndicate, also known as the Mafia Commission, Luciano gave him a seat on the governing board. His closest ally on the board was Bonanno, who would cooperate with him over the next 30 years. He was also allied with Stefano Megadino, the boss of the Buffalo crime family. He obtained most of his wealth through traditional illegal enterprises such as protection rackets and extortion. However, to protect himself from federal tax evasion charges, he still maintained his original olive oil business, known as Mamma Mia Importing Company, leading to his nickname as Olive Oil King. As the demand for olive oil skyrocketed after World War II, his business thrived. He owned 20 other businesses that employed hundreds of workers in New York. In 1953, the U.S. Internal Revenue Service sued him for over $1.5 million in unpaid income taxes. The taxes were still unpaid when he died 9 years later. In 1954, the U.S. Department of Justice moved to revoke his citizenship. The government claimed that when he entered the United States in 1921, he lied to immigration officials about having no arrest record in Italy. In 1960, a U.S. Court of Appeals reversed his deportation order, ending the legal action. In 1956, law enforcement recorded a phone conversation between him and Antonio Catone, a Sicilian mafioso, about exporting Sicilian oranges to the United States. In 1959, U.S. Customs agents intercepted one of those orange crates in New York. The crate contained 90 wax oranges containing a total 110 pounds of pure heroin. Smugglers in Sicily had filled the hollow oranges with heroin until they weighed as much as real oranges, then packed them in the crate. He was never prosecuted for this crime. In 1957, he attended the Appalachian Conference, a national mob meeting, at the farm of mobster Joseph Barbara in Appalachian, New York. While the conference was in progress, New York State troopers surrounded the farm and raided it. He was one of over 60 mobsters arrested that day. On January 13, 1960, he and 21 others were convicted of conspiracy and he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, on November 28, 1960, a United States Court of Appeals overturned the verdicts. In contrast to his generosity to his relatives and the church, many of his men considered him miserly and mean with money. One reason for their rancor was that he required each family member to pay him a $25 a month tithe, an old Sicilian gang custom. The money, which amounted to approximately $50,000 a month, was meant to support the families of mobsters in prison. However, most of this money stayed with him. In addition, Profaci did not tolerate any dissent from his policies, and people who expressed discontent were murdered. On February 27, 1961, the Gallos, led by Joe Gallo, kidnapped 4 of his top men, underboss Magliocco, Frank Profaci, capo Salvatore Musacchia and soldier John Shimone. He eluded capture and flew to Sanctuary in Florida. While holding the hostages, Larry and Albert Gallo sent Joe Gallo to California. The Gallos demanded a more favorable financial scheme for the hostages' release. Gallo wanted to kill one hostage and demand $100,000 before negotiations, but his brother Larry overruled him. After a few weeks of negotiation, he made a deal with the Gallos. His consigliere Charles the Sigillo Cicero negotiated with the Gallos and all the hostages were released peacefully. However, he had no intention of honoring this peace agreement. On August 20, 1961, he ordered the murder of Gallo members Joseph "Joe" Jelly Gioielli and Larry Gallo. Gunmen allegedly murdered Gioielli after inviting him to go fishing. Larry Gallo survived a strangulation attempt in the Sahara Club of East Flatbush by Carmine Persico and Salvatore Sali D'Ambrosio after a police officer intervened. The Gallo brothers had been previously aligned with Persico against him and his loyalists. The Gallos then began calling Persico the Snake after he had betrayed them. The war continued on, resulting in 9 murders and 3 disappearances. With the start of the gang war, the Gallo crew retreated to the dormitory. By 1962, his health was failing. In early 1962, Carlo Gambino and Lucchese crime family boss Tommy Lucchese tried to convince him to resign to end the gang war. However, he strongly suspected that the 2 bosses were secretly supporting the Gallo brothers and wanted to take control of his family. He vehemently refused to resign. Furthermore, he warned that any attempt to remove him would spark a wider gang war. Gambino and Lucchese did not pursue their efforts. On June 6, 1962, he died in Southside Hospital in Bay Shore, New York of liver cancer. After his death, Magliocco succeeded him as head of the family. In late 1963, the Mafia Commission forced Magliocco out of office and installed Joseph Colombo as family boss. At this point, the Profaci crime family became the Colombo crime family. Giuseppe Joe Profaci was an Italian-American Cosa Nostra boss who was the founder of what became the Colombo crime family of New York City. Established in 1928, this was the last of the 5 families to be organized. He was the family's boss for over 3 decades.